Tonight, 2 days stranded in the bush. How a family of 4 survived the elements of far west New South Wales before their miraculous recovery. And a first-of-its-kind plastic remanufacturing plant opens in Port Lincoln, with the focus on repurposing plastic that would otherwise be labelled as waste.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf Studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. More information has come to light about how a family of 4 survived 2 days in the remote outback of far west New South Wales. 27-year-old Darian Aspinall, her children 2-year-old Winter and 4-year-old Coda Bellamy, and their grandmother Leah Gooding were found safe and well on Tuesday afternoon. Spotted by a helicopter, the family used mirrors from the car to attract attention of aircraft taking part in the multi-agency land and air search. The family also forced to drink water from a roadside puddle in order to stay hydrated enough. Darian and her family spent the night in Tibooburra after being airlifted to the health clinic there. The family were initially reported missing to the Barrier Police District after failing to arrive at their accommodation at Packsaddle. A new plastic remanufacturing company has officially opened its doors in Port Lincoln. Sarban Circular intends on giving end-of-life plastics a second chance, transforming would-be waste into usable materials.
One man's trash is another's reusable plastic. Complete with a ribbon-cutting ceremony, Sarban Circular opened in Port Lincoln on Tuesday. The company's goal, to lessen the impact of landfill and incinerated materials. It's the first of its kind in South Australia, aiming to repurpose plastics that have seen better days.
Upstream manufacturing, which takes that end-of-life plastic material and grinds it into granules. Then the downstream manufacturing is using those granules to create something of much higher value.
The plant will transform thousands of kilograms of plastic piping and fishing nets used by the fishing industry each year, offering an alternative solution to storing plastic at the tip.
But we haven't been able to do anything with them at the moment because we don't know how to. So the opportunity here for this type of manufacturing to come in and translate it going from waste to a useful product is something that's exciting and interesting.
Sarban will convert both soft and hard plastic waste into high-value products, all whilst benefiting the community.
You know, instead of going cradle to grave, going cradle to grave, back to cradle again. And that's what we're trying to create here.
The plant also offering educational and employment opportunities for the next generation.
Not just for employment, but for a pathway for young people coming through school to understand the environmental requirements of reuse of plastics, and then to create professional employment for them is really, really great.
Abe and the team encouraging businesses that use these materials to be accountable and repurpose plastics where they can. Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Over the past few years, Port Pirie Council has been trying to improve the presentation and overall well-being of the community by asking locals what they want. Now there's another public consultation open, stage 1 of the riverbank precinct.
Costing over $2 million, the Port Pirie Riverbank Precinct development will take place over the next 12 months, focusing on enhancing what is already a popular and scenic destination.
Council carried out consultation in March 2020, but unfortunately our plans to progress the project were hampered by COVID.
The feedback provided assisted Council in the concept and master plan, which provides an overview of the main projects taking place.
We really want to focus on family-friendly free stuff. A big focus will be the skate park and providing a half-court basketball court.
Having a court next to the existing skate park will create a youth precinct.
We're also looking at a pump track. So a pump track is a sealed sort of up and down cycle track. That will, I guess, complement the bike, walking and cycling trails that we've recently put in.
It's hoped the upgrades will create a hub for mountain bikers, families and community groups to enjoy a day out, as well as connecting the riverbank to the Southern Flinders precinct.
So by enhancing the facilities that we have here, we're hopeful that it will provide better facilities for the community to enjoy.
The project will also help create job opportunities for the unemployed, with council set to team up with the Work Ready program to help hire locals right here in Port Pirie. You can view the master plan on council's website. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
After a 2-year layoff, EP Field Days is back. Thousands of people making the trip to Cleve this year, checking out a range of exhibits over the 3-day event. Air Peninsula Field Days pulling out all the stops, making sure to have something for everyone.
Some heavy hitters rolling out to Cleve for this year's Air Peninsula Field Days. Upwards of 500 exhibitors have set up a stall showcasing their business to the region. Amongst the tents was former Australian cricketer Brad Hogg, sharing an important message around mental health.
You know, you go through ups and downs in life. I was very fortunate that I had cricket to keep me occupied, but you know, there's other things outside your life that do bring you down. And one thing I'm learning and one thing that I'm trying to do every time I've got a problem on my mind, have someone that I can go and talk to.
The event is expected to welcome over 20,000 visitors over the 3 days, checking out farming machinery, listening to live music, or simply enjoying some of the region's finest food and drinks.
We've had an absolute ball today. We've got 60 businesses represented in the tent and we're feeling the local love and everybody's been having such a good time, so we're really thankful for everyone supporting the crew here.
Local businesses are showing off their produce, but it wasn't all just tractors and tasty treats, with many local groups promoting their clubs, recruiting more members to get involved.
The Cleve Men's Shed is part of an Australia-wide organisation of well over 1,000 sheds in Australia now, in country towns and city areas, meeting a very real need for men who have time on their hands.
The men's shed welcoming visitors into Cleve, offering up coffee and a good conversation. Further down the path, visitors can check in with charitable organisations who support those living in the regions.
The Royal Flying Doctors Service is just a great service, and it's really important, especially for the country people who need to get back to Adelaide. I don't know if you know, but last year we landed in the Air Peninsula over 1,000 times.
The innovative event highlights world-class farming technologies and rural communities, and there is still time to catch all the action. Tickets are $15 for adults, $5 for students, and kids get in free. Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, the more you know, the unlikely connection between the sinking of the Titanic and this Synagogue museum in Broken Hill. And the results of whalers' fishing ban means more giant cuttlefish to roam Spencer Gulf waters. Welcome back. The Outback is a place you would least expect to find a synagogue, but it's Broken Hill's hidden gem. For those travelling to the area next week for the Monday Bash, it's well worth stopping by and checking it out.
The first stone of the synagogue was laid on November 30, 1910. The Broken Hill Historical Society purchased the building 80 years later in 1990, and after giving it a good clean-up, they turned it into a museum.
They got to work and opened it in 1991 for people to come and have a look if they phoned.
Margaret Price is the coordinator, a title she had to earn after being voted in by her Historical Society peers. Margaret enjoys telling the history and many stories of the synagogue to all who come through the museum's doors.
When I come in, it was rather bland. It didn't tell me a story. It had no stories, just a couple in the synagogue, but nothing to say who it was and why it was here.
There has been quite a number of items donated to the museum from around Australia to help Margaret when telling those stories.
We have the Silverton Tramway Directors Table from Melbourne that come to Broken Hill and is in our Ralph Wallace Research Centre.
Broken Hill has a rich and vast history, one with a connection to the most famous ship in the world, the Titanic. For the centenary of the sinking of the ship, a man from Sydney asked the Historical Society if they would like his collection of memorabilia. A memorial was also erected in Sturt Park.
The bandsman in Broken Hill, when the Titanic sunk, had read in the newspaper that the band played on. So they raised funds to build a memorial and they built a broken column.
Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The Port Augusta suburb of Stirling North is looking a little more colourful thanks to a creation of a new mural. The design features familiar local landmarks, with several children helping with some of the final brushstrokes.
A previously run-of-the-mill wall in Stirling North has been transformed into a work of art. The Mural Street Playground is now home to Port Augusta's latest mural, with help from some of the city's youngest residents.
We did kangaroos and starting to paint kangaroos and all.
Several children were invited to paint parts of the mural, overseen by artist Joel Plevin.
It's come along not too bad. We've had a few weeks at it, but we've got a couple of days to go and we should have it.
He says plenty of ideas were thrown around by the kids when they were asked what they wanted to see featured in the final design.
The idea behind the mural was to get some of the kids involved, so they ran some groups and got a lot of the kids to put ideas forth of what they wanted in the painting, and with a general theme of the Flinders Ranges.
The mural featuring the beauty of the Flinders Ranges and well-known landmarks, and there's likely more large-scale paintings to come. Port Augusta City Council says that more murals across town could be in place in the not-too-distant future, meaning the city might be going mural crazy. The artwork at Stirling North is set to become part of a new mural walk throughout Port Augusta. Council says once the duplication of the Joy Baluch AM Bridge is completed later this year, it will install signage for tourists to check out our growing collection. Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Several months after the state government temporarily banned the fishing of the giant Australian cuttlefish in the Spencer Gulf, the results are in and they're looking good. Figures suggest migration numbers near Whyalla have increased by 28% to about 137,000 cuttlefish. The reassuring result leading the state government to consider a permanent ban next year. It's welcome news for tourism operators who rely on visitors wanting to see and swim with the incredible sea creatures. Stay with us after the break. A mobile blood donation service stops by a regional Spencer Gulf town. And more than just school rivalry, 2 colleges come together for the Father Dennis Handley Cup in Port Pirie. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Golf News. Clare residents who have a spare arm are being asked to donate blood this winter. The Australian Red Cross Mobile Donor Centre is in town, parked up at the Valley's Lifestyle Centre until Friday, having arrived earlier this week. According to figures, 1 Australian requires blood every 24 seconds, but less than 4% of people donate. The centre is open between 10 and 6:30 tomorrow and between 7:30 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. on Friday. Each year, schools look forward to battling it out with their rival school on Intercol Day. For St Mark's and Xavier College, the day has a deeper meaning, as both schools honour their former principal, Father Dennis Handley.
A day named in honour of their former principal. The Father Dennis Handley Cup went off without a hitch, participants engaging in friendly competition, fair play and sportsmanship.
So after about 12 months of preparation and liaising with Xavier College, we've organised the Father Dennis Handley Cup, which is a commemorative cup.
Students were buzzing with excitement and cheering loudly. Clearly a day the whole cohort looks forward to.
It's been a bit of an anticipated event because due to COVID we haven't been able to play the past few years, and so I think everybody's getting pretty hyped today about it.
The day consists of netball, soccer and football matches, creating quite the cheer squad, especially for senior students competing for the last time.
We want to take home some wins and just hope everyone enjoys the day and has a good time.
A day of importance for the schools. Copious amounts of effort goes in behind the scenes to ensure the day runs smoothly.
We are a Salesian school, and the only other Salesian school in South Australia is Xavier College, so being able to build that relationship with them and us is something that the kids and staff really look forward to each year.
As for the results, St Mark's went home with 2 of the 3 shields, dominating in netball and football, while Xavier was crowned champions of soccer. Both schools excited to do it all again next year. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. It's cheaper but still expensive. This week's Fuel Watch is up next. And we'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Welcome back. Our wallets might be a little fuller this week with petrol prices continuing their decline across the region. Here's reporter Daniel Pizarro with this week's Fuel Watch.
If you need to fill up at the Bowser, things are getting better for your bank balance, but the savings do depend on your car or truck. First to unleaded prices, and Port Lincoln had a big drop to under $1.79 per litre. Similar drops reported in Whyalla and Port Pirie to around the $1.83 mark. Port Augusta is a little bit more expensive at $1.84 per litre. Kadina had the region's cheapest unleaded at $1.76, but Broken Hill is still seeing fuel at over $2 a litre, having only dropped slightly from last week. While the average price in Adelaide bucked the trend and has risen by almost 3 cents, relatively cheap for fuel at $1.65 per litre. Having a look at diesel, and you'll still be paying over $2 per litre, but prices are still continuing to fall. Whyalla had a massive drop in price by 5 cents, down to $2.13, but Port Augusta did even better, with the price at the pump down to $2.09. Broken Hill still costing the most in the region, only dropping slightly to $2.20 per litre from last week. Kadina again had the cheapest diesel at $2.04. And if you're heading down to Adelaide, diesel will set you back just over $2 per litre. Finally, LPG prices have also fallen, but not as much as other fuels. Port Lincoln sees a slight price reduction to $1.28 and it's $1.12 in Port Pirie. Whyalla, Port Augusta and Kadina's prices remain steady from last week. But Broken Hill is the cheapest price for LPG, staying at $1.10, and it's even better in Adelaide with 93 cents per litre recorded. Of course, these prices are regional and metro averages, so if you see petrol cheaper where you are, let us know via our Facebook page. Until then, drive safely on our roads.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Alex Sykes. Alex, it was significantly warmer in Whyalla this morning compared to yesterday.
Yes, that's right, Maddie. It was 15 degrees at 6:30 this morning compared to just 1 degree the same time yesterday morning. But while the temperature was warmer, it was also much windier. Gale force gusts were recorded all morning, peaking at 76 kilometres per hour at 12:30 this afternoon. Factoring in the wind chill, it felt a lot colder than it was, up to 10 degrees cooler than the official reading. The Steel City reached 18 degrees this afternoon. Elsewhere, just 14 degrees in Broken Hill. Woodner reached 20. Looking more broadly at today's weather map, 19 degrees up north in Cooper Pedy. 18 was the top in Port Augusta, Port Pirie and Port Lincoln. Taking a look at the satellite image now, a cold front which moved over the west of South Australia this morning will move over remaining districts this evening. A slow-moving low-pressure system will move across the southeast of the state tomorrow and Friday. A high-pressure ridge will move over the west later in the weekend, then move slowly eastwards early next week. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. North to northwesterly winds 15 to 30 knots, seas between 1 and 3 metres, and south to southwesterly swell 1 to 1.5 metres. Showers and 15 degrees in Port Lincoln tomorrow. Rainy and windy in Cleve for the final day of the EP-filled days. Similar conditions in Woodner between 6 and 16 degrees there. A possible shower in Whyalla, 19 the expected top. A shower of 2 and 20 degrees in Port Augusta, and rain increasing in Kadina, 16 degrees there. 19 degrees in Port Pirie tomorrow, and the rain is likely to pick up a bit. Showers increasing in Clare as well, 15 tomorrow after an overnight low of 6. And there's a slight chance of shower in Broken Hill tomorrow, before a sunny afternoon set to reach 18. Taking a look further through the week now, Friday's forecast is looking wet just about everywhere. 15 degrees in Kadina, Port Lincoln and Adelaide, 16 in Woodner and Port Pirie. Whyalla will be 17, showers most likely in the late morning and afternoon, and the chance of a thunderstorm. Moving on to Saturday's outlook, Broken Hill has a 70% chance of a shower at this stage, heading for a top of 14, between 15 and 18 degrees everywhere else. And a sunny Sunday on the way for Cooper Pedy, 19 degrees, 19 in Port Augusta as well, but a possible shower. Elsewhere, temperatures in the mid-teens. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. Maddie, I'll see you soon with an update. It's back to you.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Wednesday. I'm Madeline Kerr. From all of us here, thanks for joining us. I'll have updates a little later, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.